Joined by Matt Cockell, the general manager for the Winnipeg Ice. Matt, appreciate you taking the time to do this today. We've got the 2020 WHL Bantam Draft in the books. How do you feel about what your team was able to accomplish on Wednesday?
I think our team was we were real excited for the draft. It's a big day and for all of our franchises, but certainly for the young men. And there's a lot of people involved in their lives that have sure helped them along the way. And this is kind of a great recognition for a lot of players in terms of where they're at. And from our club specifically, I thought Jake Heisinger and his team were really disciplined, and there was a lot of depth in this draft, as a lot of people have talked about, and they put a good list together, and we were able to follow it.
The first pick you're able to make in the first round comes 14th overall. You take Zach Benson. What is it about his game that you really like?
Yeah, we had Zach, for us, we thought was one of the most intelligent players in the draft. I think we really like his hockey IQ. We think he'll fit in real well with our forward group and how we play the game. He's highly skilled. We think there's a lot of room for him to in terms of potential, and he's obviously a little bit smaller, but he's 14. He's going to continue to grow, and we think his potential is really special as a player, and we're excited to start working with him, and really enjoyed our conversations with him. Tremendous family, and so we're excited to move forward with Zach, and he'll be a big part of our franchise.
Now, off the top, you mentioned the depth in the draft. You're able to make 13 selections on Wednesday afternoon. What stood out to you about what you were able to accomplish in the later rounds of the draft?
Yeah, I think we went into the draft with a bit of an open mind. There was, for us, the way our list kind of unfolded, there was some players there near the end that we really liked that were still available. So we just decided to take the opportunity to add them, as a number of people, certainly will know, like where you're drafted in the Western Hockey League draft certainly doesn't dictate where things might go for you. It's a point in time, and development is a trajectory that we're excited to work with all of our prospects with. And there were a number of players. I mean, I'll just touch on one player, is the goalie Ty Hogue. He played for Central Plains. His team didn't win a game the entire year, and yet to watch the battle, compete, and I just think it's such a great message for a player maybe who's had a bit of a challenging year. If you just stick with it, keep working, people are going to take notice. And it's so there was lots of really neat stories to, I think, our draft like that, and we think we have a really good group, lots of diversity. Cumby is a 6'4" defenseman that has certainly a lot of room for his game to grow and mature, and then there's some other smaller skilled players as well. So really happy with the job of our team.
Now, from a hockey operations standpoint, with the Bantam Draft in the books, there's obviously lots of work to come in the next chapter down the road here. So what is next on the calendar for you and your hockey operations staff?
I think we're trying to get really creative. James Patrick and his staff, working with our strength conditioning team, have done a tremendous job, I think, in terms of supporting the development of our players in this unique time. So everyone's got their own environment that they're training and working in. Some have access to more gym equipment, some don't. There's obviously no access to rinks right now. So we've got a number of things, both on the mental skills side that we're working on, in addition to the physical side with our players and programs that we've provided them. We're excited. We're going to have very shortly here kind of a virtual orientation development camp, which normally this time of year you might have the opportunity to bring some players into your facility, and so we're going to take it to them. We're going to take advantage of every opportunity we have to continue to work with players, and for them to get to know our organization. And I think there's lots of positives that can be taken from this time as well. I know our team sure thought during the draft process, sometimes you're talking to parents and players that might be 5 to 7 minute little conversations in between periods at the rink. And this year we had a number of conversations, and some of them were 20, 30, 40 minutes, and you could really take your time and get to know folks. So I think there's some things out of this time that we'll probably wouldn't have ever probably done in the past, and probably will continue doing, because there's been lots of positives.
Last question I'll ask you, and then I'll let you go. But obviously the draft itself is a really big day for all the players involved, the families involved, and the teams involved. But what message would you deliver to players and their families coming out of the draft to help set them up positively for the next stage?
Yeah, I think any player, we encourage all of our prospects and their families to enjoy the day. It's important when there's some recognition to enjoy it. There's a lot of hard work that goes into it. Having said that, the work continues. The work, and those that continue to take advantage of the resources available to them. Those that are excited to do the work, that love the game of hockey and are able to make it fun and enjoyable. I think those are players that you generally see continue to get better and continue to love the game and continue to grow. So we want to make it fun for our players and for the families, and I think that's important. Especially in a time like this. Can you do a challenge with some things and some of your buddies and some different things to kind of make it interesting and competitive? And you might have to get a little bit creative, but it's a great time to do that. And, we're really looking forward to when we can all get back together again soon. But in the meantime, we're going to take every advantage. And I know the families we've talked to have shared some great stories about all the neat things that they're doing as well to help with their child's development. So we're really looking forward to the future.